I want that as well for you, but if someone...
No, you don't. You want me to be a second-class citizen.
If you deserve to be, then yeah. If I told you this idea of second-class citizen is a punishment.
For Christians.
And this, for Christians and
Jews.
And Zoroastrians, by the way.
Yeah. Like just, you believe in a religious apartheid then, don't you?
That's a punishment.
When Christ, who is my teacher, when Christ, who is my God, says that he has come to set slaves free, logically, well, how do you think I might respond to that teaching?
Okay.
So they don't know any better.
What has sharia to
but
do
because they reject his invitation, do they get made dhimmis? Yes.
Yeah, they will be.
Exactly. So, and is being a dhimmi a punishment?
It's a punishment.
Yes.
Yes.
So therefore, ignorant people are being punished according to Sharia law, and you said that was unjust. Thank you very much. Say, if Allah the Most Gracious had a son, yes. Say, if Allah the Most Gracious had a son, I would be the first to worship. So that's Allah telling Muhammad to say something.
So let me see Ibn Kathir. And what's point?
So here's my question. Obviously, Allah's only giving a hypothetical situation. The point of the verse is to say that Allah doesn't have a son. But every word that Allah speaks must be true. So therefore, he's saying that if he was to have a son, that son would be worthy of worship. So my question is, what in this hypothetical situation, what quality does the son have that makes him worthy of worship?
I'm reading Ibn Kathir because I told you I'm not an expert in.
Yep.
So we are probably.
Oh, you're reading the tafsir?
Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah, because one tafsir is not enough for me.
I've already read the tafsir. I could tell you what the tafsir is.
I have to check a scholar what he says about it.
Yeah.
So this one probably is going to be my homework.
It's going to
be my homework.
But I just want you to think logically, right? The Quran has given, Allah himself has given the hypothetical.
No, I told you, this is my homework.
But what quality would the son have making worthy of worship?
I cannot give you an answer because I have to make my homework. I told you I have to read the tafsir.
Yeah.
And I have to read tafsir from a scholar of today. So I check, maybe next week if I come back, if I'm here, if they didn't deport me, as you're saying.
Well, I hope they do.
Yeah?
I genuinely hope they do.
Then you are against freedom of religion.
I against your religion and the way you interpret it, absolutely.
Then I'm against your religion as well.
Yeah, and this is the point that people need to realize, is that your beliefs are dangerous and we shouldn't tolerate them.
And then you shouldn't have a problem with Islamists when they
invading Christian lands. Yeah, I've got a problem with that because that results in Christians getting killed. And it results in Christians getting enslaved.
No, there is jizya.
No, it result. Do you think if you're going to invade someone's land that they're not going to fight back?
They will.
And do you not think that there'll be civilians that are collateral damage in that war?
I could, yeah.
Right, so people are going to get killed then if people follow your beliefs, aren't they?
Yeah, but
and in Islam, do you not enslave people as war booty if you win the war?
That's true. Yeah.
Right, so your beliefs result in war, theft, kidnap.
I don't believe that.
Yes.
I don't believe it's a kidnap.
Yes.
I don't believe it's a kidnap. I don't believe it's a theft. I believe this is war spoil.
Yeah.
Which is even the Bible actually referred to it. If you read the Old Testament, there is war spoils. That's a punishment.
No, you see, the thing is, you don't understand much about my religion, I can tell.
When you say that it's theft, kidnap, I don't believe it's theft. I don't believe it's a kidnap.
So
when let's say when the United States invaded Iraq or invaded Afghanistan, because of certain things.
Was that wrong?
Well, if they follow what the Geneva Convention says about the rules of war, and they
which include not kidnapping and enslaving people.
Yeah, but the American soldiers, they did, if you know.
Right, but is it wrong?
According to the United Nations, it's wrong. Yeah.
So no, I'm not asking what the United Nations think. I'm asking what you think. Do you think it is wrong that the Americans invaded Iraq? And let's just pretend for a second you're right, they enslaved people. Was that wrong?
I don't know exactly what Saddam Hussein he was doing. I don't know if he was in the right thing for his liberty. Now, if Saddam Hussein he was criminal or something, then I don't see anything wrong with it. So if the United States...
So if we can justify the invasion of Iraq by saying Saddam Hussein is criminal, can we define, say, the regime in Saudi Arabia or Qatar or
how can we define
Arab Emirates? Yeah, exactly. We've got to have a basis, and that basis has to be rooted on truth. It can't be relative, right? And the truth is within the Christian faith. It's in the glorification of the divine Trinity. This is where
I don't
truth
believe
is.
in that.
I know you don't.
Yeah, I don't believe in that, so I don't accept the standard that you're using to determine whether someone is something is moral or immoral. So for me to accept that, we need to speak not just in 1 day or 2 days, we have to speak in a month.
And I'm happy to talk to you.
No, that's fine. But as
Sorry,
I
hay
told you,
fever.
so if you invade the country to spread justice, I have no problem.
Great. So,
Justice. If you invade the country to spread justice, I have no problem.
Great.
If you invade the country,
So by this logic, the Islamists like yourself can't complain when we
all the
invade.
Muslims are Islamists.
Yeah, no, not all Muslims, because
Yes.
I know Muslims that are not Islamists.
What do you mean by are not Islamists?
In that they don't agree with what you're saying. I know
If they
Muslims.
don't agree with me, then they disagree with the Quran, because the verse is very clear.
I agree with you. The Quran is very clear. I agree with you.
Yes.
You are representing Islam better than them. But I am telling
I'm not
you,
hypocrite,
I'm
honest.
not saying you are. You're very honest. But what I'm saying to you is that I know lots of Muslims that are better human beings than you, in that they
better by what standard?
by the standard of by a Christian standard.
I don't accept it.
I know you don't.
Yeah.
But I'm still saying these Muslims are better human beings than you,
Well, but that's subjective, I understand.
because they wouldn't they agree with what Christ taught when he said that you should do unto others what you want done unto you, right?
But didn't Jesus?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If someone started a political party that said that we should enslave Muslim women, that we should, and that when we enslave them that they become war booty that we can rape, that we should stop the building of churches, that we should sorry, my apologies, stop the building of mosques, that anyone who converts to Islam should be killed, that anyone who proselytizes Islam should be punished. Would you say that that is an Islamophobic party?
If that's what God exactly wants, I'm not going to say it's an Islamophobic.
But that's not answering my question.
I did.
No, you didn't. You gave a condition. I didn't ask
Of
you.
course.
I didn't ask you an if. I said, would you say that that is wrong if someone did that?
Yes, I would say as well.
Right.
Based in Islamic teachings, I would say as
Exactly.
well. Yeah.
And this is why my religion is superior to yours. Because my faith teaches that the good that I want for myself is the good that I should try to get for you. So, I don't want to be enslaved. So I
don't want
I would.
my sister
Oh,
to
I
be
would.
killed.
1 second. I don't want to be enslaved. So I don't want you to be enslaved.
Yeah.
I don't want my sister to get killed. So I don't want your sister to get killed. And the difference between my religion and you, and you've helped me do this wonderfully and demonstrate this wonderfully, is as clear as day. My religion is morally superior to yours in every conceivable
I don't
way,
accept that.
because the good that I want for myself is the good that I should aspire for you to have.
I want that as well for you, but if someone...
No, you don't.
Just
You want me to be a second-class citizen.
If you deserve to be, then yeah. Are you against killing criminals?
Not in every circumstance, no.
Yeah, so there is a situation, it's okay to kill a human being, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so if someone deserves, I told you this idea of second-class citizen is a punishment.
For Christians.
For Christians and the
Jews.
Jews and Zoroastrians, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
just-
you create a religious. You believe in a religious apartheid, then, don't you?
That's a punishment.
Yes. So you do believe in a religious apartheid, don't you?
What do you mean by religious?
Well, I mean, you've admitted it, but a religious apartheid is when one class of person is elevated above another class of person in terms of their legal rights, based upon their beliefs.
Yeah, but that belief is a crime. If you don't believe what Islam says, that's a
Exactly.
crime. That means it's a punishment.
Yes.
Because you believe that, like, let's say, for example, criminals, they should be killed or they should be put in jail, right?
Yes.
Now you are making apartheid of an action.
Yes,
Yeah.
and to be clear, like I've established.
And then you make
yes, I've established something of a religious apartheid
just-
myself,
can
because
I-
I said that you should be punished for your beliefs. But let me be clear why I said that. I said that you should be punished for your beliefs because your beliefs are harmful to the world.
I believe your belief is harmful to the world.
Right, but in a real sense,
I believe
your beliefs will punish people, just because they are Christian.
No, they are not just.
I would not punish a Muslim. 1 second. I would not punish a Muslim just because they're a Muslim.
But you would be punishing an ISIS member.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, why?
Absolutely. Well, because ISIS have committed genocide against Christians. They forced all the
So
Christians
it's a
out of
crime what
Muslim.
they do.
Yes.
Yeah, Muslims, they believe that if you don't believe in God, you don't worship
Yes.
God, you are a criminal and you will be punished. That's what we believe.
I know.
Yeah. So
But the
how
question
can you,
is,
how can you?
but the
how can
question
you
is that within the Christian worldview, there are some punishments that are left to God, and there are some punishments that are left to the secular world. So when it comes to,
secular?
let
Why
me,
not
well, firstly, Islam is false, but in
I
terms
believe
of,
that secularism is false.
in terms of the division, the reason why some punishments belong to God, it's because they are crimes uniquely against God. So you're not worshipping God, you're not following the truth. Because God wants you to enter into a relationship with Him lovingly and freely, the state should not punish you because of your beliefs. Because in our religion, God wants you to enter into a relationship with Him freely, and that means with love, or with love, and that means freely.
Yeah?
Let me finish. However, your beliefs that you've advocated about religious apartheid, about invading Christian lands, about discriminating
No,
against
just Christian
Christians.
lands,
All lands. Yes. You're a very honest jihadi. But the point is that belief punishes people temporarily for crimes that are only against God. They're not against their fellow man. If a Christian believes and worships the Trinity, but say they never even tell anyone else, they're not committing a crime against any other human being. But you're saying you're going to punish them anyway in the secular world. And that's another reason why Christianity is superior to Islam, is because we make a distinction between crime secularum and crime spiritual. And crime spiritual are for God to judge alone.
Will Jesus not going to punish people in His second coming? Yeah, so why He will punish them here at the time?
Right, so in terms of punishing people in the secular world, we punish people in the secular world based upon the crimes that they do to their neighbour.
No, but Jesus, when He's coming back...
I'm talking about the Christian worldview here. This is what we as
when
Christians
Jesus come back...
He's going to judge, and He's going to judge people based upon their crimes against God.
Well, yes, because if they don't believe in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you are punishing people because of their beliefs.
No, Christ is going to punish. I'm not punishing anyone.
I don't have the power. Do it by himself.
I don't have the power. No, Christ doesn't need anyone to send someone to hell.
Are you saying
He's going to send someone to hell because of the power, the authority
Jesus,
of
when
His
He's
word.
coming back, He will do it by Himself?
Jesus, by the power of His word, will judge your soul and send it to hell or to heaven.
No, but they will be. I think in the Book of Revelation, it explains what's going to. I'm not. I didn't read the Book of Revelation, but I know that in Book of Revelation, He's going to kill anyone does not believe in Him. Is going to be kill Him, and there will be, I think, a bath of blood or something.
This is a discourse about the judgment. There's absolutely.
No, they're going to be killed here. And
that's one way. No. That's only one way that you can interpret the text. There are other ways to interpret that text, and that's only one way.
But I can do it. I can interpret.
It's within the latitude of interpretation, and there are Christians that have that interpretation.
So I take that interpretation.
That's fine.
I can say you are a danger as well to the atheists and
but
to the Hindus.
But a Christian does not punish people based upon that revelational text.
They do. He's going to kill them because they don't believe in him.
No.
Atheists, agnostics, Jewish, Muslims.
No, because Christians, unlike Islam, we can learn from our mistakes. We made this mistake in our past, right?
What do you mean?
So it is a mistake because you can't know someone's heart to judge it.
When Jesus
you can only wait 1 second. You can only know someone's actions. You can't know their heart. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Right. So in terms of someone's belief, you can't judge them based upon their belief.
By the actions.
How do you know that someone isn't a Christian out of ignorance?
By his actions and his saying.
Is it? If someone is a Christian out of ignorance because they don't know the truth of Islam and the light of Islam, they're only Christian because they're ignorant. Mm-hmm. Is it right to punish people for ignorance?
No. Before we punish.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
You cut me.
Yeah. Because there's a logic here. If we admit that there are some Christians who are only Christian because they're ignorant, but all Christians get punished because they're Christian, does that mean that you're punishing people who are ignorant?
No. Before we ask in jizya or waging war, we invite people to Islam first. That's what first we do.
Yeah.
And then who is going to do that is the head of state. He's the one to decide where the.
But perhaps he makes a really bad representation of Islam.
Who?
The Caliph. Perhaps he makes a representation of Islam that's so bad that people just go, I can't believe that, because he didn't explain Islam properly. Are you saying that every Caliph is an expert in Islam?
They have to, because for you to be a Caliph, you have to be an expert in Islam.
Well, unfortunately, considering the amount of Muslims that have rebelled against other Muslims and set up opposing caliphates. Clearly, even Muslims don't believe that historically.
What do you mean?
So you know and I know that Muslims have rebelled against Muslim caliphs and
in
established
history, yeah.
and established other caliphs. So clearly, your view that every Muslim caliph is an expert
No,
is not one
I
that has
didn't
been
say-
shared by Muslims historically.
No, it should be. I didn't say all of them.
Right,
are
but
experts.
exactly. So the point is, in a hypothetical, horrible situation where Islamists are in control,
Not just in Islam.
and the caliph is making a representation to Christians, perhaps he is ignorant of Islam and makes a bad representation.
Yeah,
so if those Christians then reject a bad representation of Islam, have they rejected Islam or have they rejected a bad representation?
They
of Islam?
reject the bad representation.
Right. Are they being punished because they're ignorant?
I would say yes.
Right.
I would
And
say
is it right or wrong to punish people who are ignorant?
No.
Right. So you have just admitted that in Sharia law there is injustice.
Why?
If you can't follow the logic, bro, I'll lay it all out for you.
No, explain me why.
I'll explain it again. I'll explain it again. We'll do it point by point, really slowly.
Only one time.
And I'll do it.
One more time.
I'm only going to do it one more time.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. Point one. It is wrong to punish people out of ignorance.
I believe
No,
yes.
I'm representing this. I'm not asking for your commentary or your interjections. You have asked me to repeat my argument. I'm doing it. Point one. It is unjust to punish people out of ignorance. Point two. The position of the dhimmi is a punishment in Sharia law. Point three. There will be, amongst a large enough Christian population, Christians who are ignorant of Islam. Point four, it is possible that even when they have received dawah, they have received such bad dawah that they are not rejecting Islam, but they are rejecting a bad representation of Islam. Point five, such people who reject the dawah, the invitation, are punished as dhimmi. Ergo, therefore, Sharia is punishing ignorant people. That is injustice.
No.
Right, go and explain why not.
Sharia does not punish
Ignorant people.
ignorant people.
So explain where my logic was wrong.
That's the fault of the caliph. If the caliph is ignorant, okay, first of all, he shouldn't be there in the position at all.
That-
He shouldn't be there.
no, no.
So what has Sharia to do with that? We cannot punish someone until we explain to him Islam. And for you to explain Islam, you have to be an
But if
expert in
someone,
Islam.
if the caliph says, I've explained Islam to you, and he did a bad job, and they reject the bad job, would
how
they
do-
be made a dhimmi? Answer that.
What do you mean? Second?
I mean, the question was really clear.
I have to answer you properly because I don't want to make a mistake.
Yeah.
in my answer.
So let's
Say
do this
Say
again. So if a caliph invites people to embrace Islam, but makes a bad job of the sales pitch, and some of the Christians reject the bad sales pitch in the Sharia law because
Let's
they
say
let
we-
me finish. Would they be made dhimmis?
So you mean that the caliph he misrepresented Sharia?
He misrepresented Sharia law, and they reject the misrepresentation because they have been invited to Sharia law. Would they be made dhimmis? Because they've received an invitation from the caliph to embrace Islam. Would they be made dhimmis?
Oh, a Christian is a dhimmi. If he pay the jizya, is a dhimmi.
Yeah, that's not answering my question. Answer my question. In the situation I've described, which has followed all the things that you've laid out as necessary things.
Okay, I will answer you. I understand it now. If I know that the caliph is wrong, I don't believe that the Christian is a dhimmi.
That didn't answer my question.
Yeah, I'm answering.
Yeah, but under Sharia law, would the caliph make them a dhimmi?
Yeah. You're gonna
Right.
make
So
them a dhimmi, yeah.
therefore, ergo, my argument stands. Islam commits injustice, and your own admission,
How?
your own confession, shows that.
But how?
I literally laid it out for you, bro.
No, because
You followed it. Did you
caliph-
follow the argument? He weren't even listening. He weren't even
No,
listening.
that's the
Ask
issue.
your viewers if they followed the argument.
That's the mistake of the caliph. What has Sharia to do with the mistake of the caliph? For example, there is George Bush and Tony Blair. They did a mistake, yeah?
That's irrelevant.
Why is it?
Right, because the example, I'll lay it out for you again,
Yeah.
right? Look, brother, we've got your bang to rights. Muslims invade lands that aren't their own, they conquer people that aren't their own, and then they have a religious obligation to invite people to embrace Islam.
Now invite them before they invade them.
And when they've invaded them. before they make them a dhimmi. That's what you actually said, bro. Unfortunately,
I didn't say that. That's what Islam says.
You literally did, and the camera shows that you did.
I didn't say that. Islam says that, not me.
I mean, you can be as obtuse as you like, but
that's what Islam says, not me.
Exactly. So I'm not misrepresenting Islam, then, am I?
Yeah.
So why are you objecting?
No, you said
if I'm not misrepresenting Islam, why are you objecting?
No, you said that Sharia,
to be obtuse?
they punish innocent people, right?
Yes, and I've proven that. I've explained that to you.
That's not Sharia. That's the mistake.
Explain back to me what my argument was.
You said that if a caliph misunderstood the Sharia, for example, and imposed it to the dhimmis.
No, I didn't say that.
That's what you said.
No, I did not say that.
What did you say?
So you weren't listening.
So what did you say?
So let's do this again. Right? So if the caliph has conquered other people's lands, and before making Christians dhimmis, he invites them to Islam, but in the process of inviting them to Islam, he makes a bad representation of Islam that the people then reject because they're rejecting a bad representation of Islam, right? And they don't know any better.
But what do you mean?
The caliph will then make those people who are ignorant of Islam dhimmis, and being a dhimmi is a punishment, which means that the caliph and Islam are punishing ignorant people, and that is an injustice in Sharia law.
What do you mean by the caliph make a bad decision about Islam? Like
you weren't even listening again.
He misinterpreted the verses.
A bad representation is what I said.
What do you mean by bad representation?
Like he just represents Islam badly. Feel that however you want. He misrepresents Islam. Like he doesn't teach it properly. Yeah, he teaches. It's something that makes the Christians think that they're going to enter into polytheism, and they reject it because they think they don't want to be polytheists. Because the caliph speaks in a bad way.
If the caliph is a bad way...
No, he speaks in a bad way.
No, if he speaks in a bad way or he misinterpreted the verses, he thinks that, oh, this is the right thing, for example.
Yeah.
Okay? Definitely the Christians, they will be dhimmis, and they have to pay the jizya.
Right. So that means that they're rejecting a bad representation of Islam, but you said that punishing ignorant people is unjust, and that means Sharia law is unjust because it is punishing people who may be ignorant.
What has Sharia law to do with this caliph?
I literally just explained.
You didn't explain because
that's
this
because
is the
you're being deliberately obtuse.
No, that's the mistake of the caliph. He misunderstood, for example, the Sharia law.
He misrepresented Sharia law, is what I said.
He misrepresented.
And the people reject the misrepresentation.
No, do they know that what he's doing is wrong or not?
No, they don't. They're ignorant.
Okay.
So they don't know any better.
What has Sharia to do
But because they reject his invitation, do they get made dhimmis? Yes.
Yeah, they will be.
Exactly. So, and is being a dhimmi a punishment?
It's a punishment.
Yes. Yeah. So therefore, ignorant people are being punished according to Sharia law, and you said that was unjust. Thank you very much.
I didn't say unjust because
you
I don't
literally
understand.
did. We have you on camera. This is what you just said. Or is it okay now to punish ignorant people?
No.
Right. So therefore, Sharia law, by punishing ignorant people, is an unjust law.
Where did Sharia says punish ignorant
because
people?
A person is being made a dhimmi because they are a Christian.
But
not every Christian understands Islam.
But that's the mistake of the caliph. He should explain.
Exactly. So why do the Christians get punished for it?
Yeah, then you should ask the caliph then.
Exactly, but you're upholding the idea of their punishment, which means that you're upholding injustice. So Islam is injustice.
But caliph, there is caliphs. They punish even ignorant Muslims as well.
Yes, but the caliphs are punishing Christians for their ignorance of Islam.
Yeah, even the same thing. There is Muslims that are ignorant about Islam.
Yes, exactly.
And the caliph will punish
them. Yes,
but
but they are being punished because they're Christians.
Who?
The reason why they're punished is because they're Christians.
Yeah, but Christianity is a crime. Are you aware of that? Because believing God had a son is a crime.
It's
worse than a murder.
I know that Islamists believe that. And so I'm working within your logic.
All Muslims believe in that.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Islam teaches that, but not all Muslims are as bad as Islam. There's a lot of Muslims that are better than Islam, and they don't agree with you. And I know that they don't agree with you because I've drank with them, I've sat with them, I've ate with them, I've dated them, and they would argue that you are not a good Muslim.
Okay.
I mean, you are a better Muslim than them, but they would argue you're not.
If a Muslim,
by contrast, they're a better human being than you.
Can I speak?
Yeah, go on.
If a Muslim says that someone believing God had a son is not a crime, he's not a Muslim. He's not a Muslim. Because to say that someone believing God had a son is okay, then he's not Muslim. Maybe he said it out of ignorance.
No, they would say, yeah. But my point is, I think we've established that Islam teaches injustice, and I've not heard a defense from you. I literally laid out the evidence for you.
That's the injustice of the caliph. It has nothing to do with Islam.
No,
Islam.
So why are they made dhimmis?
Huh?
Why are they made
I already
dhimmis?
told you, it's a punishment because of the disbelief.
And is that the teaching of Islam?
Yeah.
Right, so it is because of Islam that they made dhimmis.
Yeah.
There you
Islam
go.
says if you
Thank
refuse
you.
to pay the
Like
jizya,
everyone can see this except this guy.
What is injustice here? I don't understand.
The point is, you're so keen to defend Islam that you've switched off logic. You're so keen. You're so keen you're so keen to defend Islam that you literally agree with all the premises of the argument, but then disagree with the logical conclusion.
Logic.
So you switch off logic to defend Islam.
Okay, logic by what standard? What standard?
Logic is its own standard.
Okay, is it logical to own human being as a property?
No.
Did Jesus support it? Did Jesus condemn this?
Yes, he did.
Where?
I'll show you.
Show.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually said that he's come to set them free.
Because I read Paul and I read Peter.
No, this is Jesus' words.
Yeah, so Paul is not.
This is Jesus' words, not
and
Paul's.
you
I'm
don't
not quoting
accept Paul?
Paul. Of course I accept Paul.
So Paul, he says that.
Why do you? Can I ask you a question? You know I'm a Christian.
I know.
You know I accept Paul. So why are you asking silly questions?
So why don't accept
Wait,
Paul?
why are you asking silly questions?
Because you give me silly answers.
No, hold on. What was silly about saying
Silly
the words of
that
Jesus?
Paul himself, he says that
No,
slave
I
has
said
to obey his master.
I said Jesus said this. Listen.
So Paul contradicts Jesus.
No, he doesn't.
So what did you mean by one? Paul
Yeah, well,
says
we
that
can
slave
explore
obey
that.
his master?
We can
because
explore
I
that.
get the verse here. It says
We
that
can explore that.
slave obey his master. And
We
there
can
is
explore that.
nowhere in the Bible
We can
says
explore that. Right? So. Jesus says these words. This is Jesus speaking. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim release to the captives. Now, who were the captives? They were the slaves. So Jesus is saying what? He has sent me to proclaim release to the captives. So what if the captives?
No, he released them.
1 second. If the captives are slaves and Christ has been sent to proclaim release to the captives, what does that mean logically? Can you do logic?
It says that I'm coming to free the slaves.
Let's do this slowly, right? Because I'm starting to think you can't think logically, right? It says
So
he has sent, right? He has sent me to
man.
proclaim release to the captives.
You believe God had a son and you claim this is
Your
logic.
Allah says that if God has a son, he's worthy of worship.
I told you.
Your
this is my
Allah
homework.
says that.
I told you
Exactly.
this is
So
my
don't
homework.
comment on something until you've done
No,
your homework.
you believe in that, right?
Yes, of course.
And you believe
Of
that's
course
logic.
God has a son.
You believe that's logic?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And
If
you
that's-
can't
if that's
even
your logic,
reply because you don't
I
even
told
know
you
what your
this is my
Quran says.
homework. I told you
Yes,
this is my
exactly.
homework. Did they
So
claim that I'm
don't
knowledgeable?
try to press commentary
No,
until you've done your
making
homework.
commentaries because
Yeah.
what I understand from this verse.
So,
Did he condemn slavery? Did he say slavery is wrong, like the
Right.
Ten Commandments?
Let's think.
murder is wrong,
Let's think about
like
what he says.
homosexuality
Let's
is
think
wrong?
about what he
Go
says.
ahead, go ahead.
Right. Let's think about it. I just want this for me as a test to see if you can do any logic at all. Right.
What you are last
So-
talks about logic.
He has sent me to proclaim release to the captives. Now the captives were the slaves. You know that, right? Right. So if Jesus has said that he's been sent to proclaim release to the captives, what does that mean?
It means that he comes to free slaves.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did he say slavery is wrong?
No, but he's come to proclaim release to captives, hasn't he?
Yeah, but is it an obligation? Do they have to free slaves?
Yes, and this
Where is the evidence for
So I'll give you evidence.
Yeah.
I'll give you evidence. So all the way through Christian history, for 2,000 years, even from the earliest times, Christians have been setting slaves free.
And they enslave
And
as well.
actually, Christians have ended the slave trade multiple times in history. Do you know the
But
first?
they took slaves.
Do you know? Yes, they did.
Yeah, why they took slaves?
Because that's a fair question. I'll give you a fair answer. Because economic structures that are sinful.
Well, that's your understanding.
So,
yeah?
sorry, I'm going to
Yeah,
answer your question.
Okay.
So it's undeniable by anyone who's read a book that slavery is a result of slavery arises out of war and poverty. That's where it comes from. War and poverty. So Christians have taken slaves. because they have not always been deep in the religion of the faith. They've been more cultural than Christian. I'll give you an example. The Saxons in England used to keep slaves up to the 10th century. When the Normans in 1066 conquered England, because their understanding of the faith was better than the Saxons, when they conquered England, bearing in mind that that was blessed by the Pope for precisely this reason, they banned slavery in 1068. And that was the first time slavery was banned in England. There's been but because of economic powers, and particularly because of the influence of Islam in Andalusia and Portugal, slavery was reintroduced, even though slavery was abolished in the whole of Europe by the 5th century, except amongst pagans.
When?
5th century.
5th?
Yes. I know, it's shocking, right? But Christians actually abolished slavery in the 5th century in the Roman Empire.
Is there any text there that it says that you are not allowed to own human being as a slave, the way he says? Because in the Bible, the Ten Commandments says you are not allowed to kill, you are not allowed to fornicate.
Yeah.
Is any verse says that you are not allowed to own?
No, there's no verse that that says you cannot own a slave. However, when
so
Christ,
now let's come to interpretation of some people.
when Christ, who is my master, when Christ, who is my teacher, when Christ, who is my God, says that he has come to set slaves free, logically, well, how do you think I might respond to that teaching?
The way I understand it, that he didn't say anything that you shouldn't own human beings as a slave.
But that didn't answer my question.
I mean, it's good to free slave.
That didn't
I'm answering you.
Yeah, go on, answer
That's
my
how
question.
I understand it.
Right.
I understand it that it's a good thing to free slave, but it doesn't mean that
Brilliant.
you are not allowed to own a slave.
Brilliant.
Because Paul, he says
Yep.
that slave, he has to obey his master.
Right, now, let's go a bit further then. Because this is one of
Do
the...
you understand my answer?
Yes, I understand your answer. But this is another reason why Christianity is superior to Islam.
There is no evidence for it.
So the first reason
because
is...
if I'm a Christian, I will own human being as a slave.
So the first reason is that Islam institutes injustice. We've evidenced
There is
that.
no evidence for it.
We have people can make their own minds up. Anyone who's watching this,
I don't believe it.
people can make a decision for themselves. But let's read this. Okay, so this is another reason why Christianity is better than Islam.
Okay.
Yeah, because we see, bear with us, right? Okay. Bear with us. Where's the passage I'm looking for?
And the last one I have to go, yeah, so tell me this one I have
Okay,
to go.
okay, we'll stop after this one. We'll stop after this one. I'll be as quick as I can.
Yeah.
Bear with me, please.
What's the name of your channel?
This channel is called Soko Films. My channel is called Bob of Speaker's
Which one
Corner.
is recorded?
Revelation 22 and Soko Films are
This
recording.
is Soko Films.
One of them is Soko Films.
Would
one
you
of
cut
them.
the video?
Why would I cut the video?
I just asked.
No, I wouldn't cut the video. Definitely not for an Islamist.
Okay.
I don't believe you deserve protection.
I don't what?
I don't believe you deserve protection.
I don't believe you deserve protection. Either.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell me the last thing I have.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull it up. Bear with us 1 second. Be quicker if I just find it here. Right. So, in Galatians 3:28. In Galatians 3:28. It says this, and this is says this 3:28. It says there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free man, there is neither male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. So here Paul is abolishing slavery. He's saying there are no slaves.
And if you belong to Christ, then Abraham is doing them according to the promise. But before the faith comes, we were kept in custody under the law, being shepherded.
It teaches against it in the New Covenant. Yeah.
Which one is that?
So that's in Galatians 3.
Okay, then this
Verse
is my
28.
homework again.
Yeah, have it.
Yeah,
Now I can actually show you a direct application of how Paul applies that.
No,
very
he
teaching.
didn't, because there is a verse. It says a slave has to obey his master.
Yes, there is that
Yes.
verse. There is that verse.
Yeah. And the verse you show me that Jesus said, like, I'm the free slave.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that I don't understand.
So the reason why Paul said slaves have to obey their masters is because he doesn't have the power to abolish slavery, but there are Christians who are slaves.
Yeah. So Christianity endorsed slavery. I believe that.
But Paul also instructs slaves that if you can, get your freedom. Are you aware of that?
Look,
are you aware of that?
The idea that you can get free, that doesn't mean that is banned or is wrong.
So I've shown you.
slavery.
I've shown you where Christ says, "I have come to set slaves
Yeah, that's
free."
not an evidence that
I've
he
shown
was-
you where Paul says there are no slaves in Christ. Paul also instructs slaves to gain their freedom if they can. Christianity is
it
clearly
wrong?
an anti-slavery religion.
No, it's not, because
it clearly is. Well, you've got to provide your evidence. Provide your evidence.
But you have to provide evidence, because
I literally have.
I told you this is.
I literally have.
This is mean better if you want to be free slave.
But let me ask you this question: is under Sharia law, can you own a slave?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely.
And have Muslims owned and bought and sold slaves for 1400 years?
They did, yeah.
Yep. And who stopped Muslims from owning slaves?
It was the United Nations.
There you go.
They imposing their laws on the Muslims.
Look, the one thing
And
that I
even
do,
Muslims-
you know, the one thing that I really do respect about you is in this entire conversation, you have been 100% honest, and I do respect that. But I still think you should be deported. I still think your children should be taken off you. I still think that you should be banned from this country.
I believe that you should be pay the jizya as well.
Even if I'm ignorant.
Yeah.
Even if I'm ignorant of Islam.
If you would explain you Islam. And
Yeah,
if
but
I'm
what happens
ignorant-
if you explain it
And
badly?
if I am ignorant about the British Constitution.
But if I explain it badly, should I still be made a dhimmi?
Yes.
There you go. So
Yeah.
he says on one hand, punishing ignorant people is a crime, but he says on the other hand
But
that
ignorant
Christians
by
should
whom?
still be made
I-
dhimmis
I-
even if they're ignorant of
I
Islam.
already
So
explained-
Islam institutes injustice.
No, I already explained to you. I told you this is a mistake of the Caliph.
What's your name, bro?
Is why?
Why are you afraid to give your name?
The moment you says you will be deported and your children they will take away.
I hope they
Yeah.
do deport you. I really do.
I hope that the Muslims they will take the world over. And
I know you
pay
do.
the jizya.
I
You
know
will
you
be
do.
Second class.
And
I
this
hope
is
so.
and
I
this
hope
is
so.
why Christians need to wake up. That
that's
we
why
have to
Muslims, they
organize
wake up as well.
ourselves to oppose these
And the
people.
Muslims they should
We
wake
have
up
to
as well
oppose them.
to impose the disbelievers as well, because your belief.
Have
is
you ever actually read the Bible?
I read some of it.
Have you got a Bible?
I have, yeah.
Right. Here's my encouragement. You're going to read Ephesians.
No, I'm not gonna
You're going to read Galatians. You said it's my homework.
I will read that one.
Yeah, read Galatians
that one
and then
saying-
come back and talk to me again.
Next week if I'm here.
Yeah, we'll talk again.